Now, there's nothing.
Caitlin, could you tell us a little bit about your eye, the hit, if it affected you, how it affected you, and through the rest of the game? Thanks.
Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye.
Caitlin Clark is nothing short of a basketball sensation, a generational talent who has taken the WNBA by storm. But recently, things got personal, real personal, when DiJonai Carrington decided to take a cheap shot at Clark during a game. And when I say cheap, I mean stabbing Clark in the eye with her nails, leaving her with a black eye. But did Carrington stop there? Nope. She mocked Caitlin, downplayed the hit, and somehow, the media sided with her, calling it a basketball play. Well, let's get one thing straight. This was no accident. It was a full-on assault disguised as gameplay, and it's time someone called it out. It could have ended her career right then and there. DiJonai Carrington's nasty hit on Caitlin Clark wasn't just a cheap shot. It could have seriously blinded her for life.
Just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing.
Let's start with the obvious. DiJonai Carrington didn't just accidentally poke Caitlin Clark in the eye. This was calculated. The video replays show it all. Carrington came at Clark with her nails, hitting her right in the eye, knocking Caitlin out of her usual rhythm. This wasn't just a fluke. Carrington knew exactly what she was doing. And it wasn't about making a basketball play. It was about sabotaging one of the WNBA's brightest stars. And what does Carrington do after?
Should be stabbed in the eye intentionally, and there's no problem here?
She stands in front of the cameras, all smug, and claims she didn't even realize she hit Clark. Really? With those exaggerated nails, you expect us to believe that you didn't know you made contact? Come on, the truth is obvious. This was no innocent play. Carrington wanted to send a message, and she did. Unfortunately for her, Caitlin Clark is not one to back down from a fight. But here's the best part. Caitlin Clark didn't let that cheap shot keep her down. She came back with a strong revenge scheme, scoring a jaw-dropping 25 points in the very next game against Carrington. While Carrington struggled to even put up 10 points, Caitlin unleashed her inner Steph Curry, sinking threes like it was nothing, and completely dominating the court. This wasn't just any game for Clark. It was personal, and she made sure Carrington felt every bit of her revenge.
In that game, somebody catches an elbow, somebody gets hit in the face. This is what happens when you have athletic people moving arms and legs, limbs are moving about in a competitive situation.
Caitlin's performance was a masterclass in basketball. She moved with purpose, precision, and that unmistakable fire in her eyes. Carrington may have tried to take her out, but Caitlin wasn't having any of it. She showed everyone who the real superstar is, and she did it in style. What's even more ridiculous is how the media handled the situation. Instead of calling Carrington out for what was clearly a dirty play, they brushed it off as just part of the game.
Fans claiming racism among Caitlin Clark's fans are actually the ones participating in the racism by celebrating an assault on the court.
This shift.
They labeled it an accident and backed Carrington, completely ignoring the fact that Clark was physically assaulted on the court. Why is that? Because Caitlin Clark is dominating the WNBA, and some people just can't handle that. It's not just the media that's showing bias. The WNBA itself failed to protect their biggest star. No flagrant foul was called during the game, even though Carrington's hit was as blatant as they come. The referees just let it slide, as if stabbing someone in the eye is normal basketball behavior. It's criminal that nothing was done to address this, and Carrington walked away without any consequences. Let's be real. Carrington's actions were fueled by pure jealousy. Caitlin Clark is a star, and Carrington couldn't handle it.
This credit, what about the women that came before her? What the women came before her, what they did cannot be taken away. That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. But there was a lot of people tried to make sure they keep Caitlin Clark in her place, because what you're doing, if you give her all this shine, you minimize what they do.
This woman is box office, plus she can play. And the combination of the two would ultimately give all of those wonderful ladies for the wonderful work that they had done over so many years.
While Caitlin was busy lighting up the scoreboard, Carrington was focused on dirty tactics and excuses. Her whole game plan wasn't to win, but to disrupt Clark. and that's why she ended up with a pathetic 10 points. And let's not forget Carrington's ridiculous public statements. She claimed she didn't even know she hit Caitlyn in the eye. Seriously? With those claws for nails, there's no way she didn't feel the impact.
DiJonai, did you, when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlyn, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am. So yeah.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her. So I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened.
Her excuses were weak, and anyone watching the game could see through them. Now things get even murkier when you bring in the behind-the-scenes drama. Carrington is in a relationship with Nalissa Smith, her teammate on the Indiana Fever, and while it's not unheard of for players to date, the question is, how much did this personal relationship affect what happened on the court? Smith, who could have acted as a voice of reason, seemed to stay silent, possibly supporting Carrington's actions instead of diffusing the situation. This whole dynamic raises serious questions about the integrity of the game. When personal relationships start influencing how players act on the court, it's bad for the sport. Clark wasn't just dealing with one opponent in Carrington, she was up against a duo, and that's just not fair. The WNBA needs to address this because it's affecting the competition, and fans come to watch basketball, not personal vendettas.
Caitlyn is an amazing generational talent, and she's going to do amazing things.
What's really shocking is how the WNBA handled, or rather didn't handle, this whole situation. No flagrant foul was called during the game, even though Carrington's hit was vicious and clearly aimed to injure. The league didn't step in to protect Caitlyn Clark, who is arguably the biggest star they've got right now. Instead, they let Carrington get away with it, and the media spun the narrative to make it seem like Clark was overreacting. Let's get one thing straight. This was not just a basketball play. It was a targeted, deliberate attack. And the fact that the WNBA didn't do anything about it is a disgrace. Caitlyn Clark is the future of this league, and if the WNBA wants to continue growing, they need to protect their stars, not let them get taken out by jealous players who can't handle their success.
More popular. White girl must be bad. Bad white girl. We see it in politics with bad orange man. And of course your fans are racist. You racist!
Despite everything thrown at her, Caitlyn Clark is proving she's unstoppable. The jealousy, the dirty plays, the biased media coverage, it doesn't matter. Caitlyn just keeps rising, and her performance after the Carrington incident shows exactly why she's the future of the WNBA. She's not just a player, she's a game changer, and no amount of cheap shots or media spin is going to stop her. Carrington thought she could knock Caitlyn off her game with that dirty hit, but all she did was ignite a fire. Caitlyn came back stronger, angrier, and more determined than ever. And in the end, she didn't just beat Carrington, she humiliated her, showing the world who the real superstar is. Carrington may have tried to take out Caitlyn with a cheap shot, but she failed miserably. Caitlyn came back, dropped 25 points, and left Carrington in the dust. The media may have tried to protect Carrington and spin the narrative, but the truth is obvious to anyone who watched the game. Caitlyn is untouchable. She's the face of the WNBA, and no amount of dirty play or biased reporting is going to change that. Carrington's jealousy-fueled antics didn't work, and now she's the one looking like a fool. Caitlyn Clark, on the other hand, is stronger than ever, and she's going to keep dominating the league. So if you're not already on board, it's time to recognize that she is the future, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop her.